In this session we're going to look at the supplier table in Store Manager. So let me click on this button here, which is the supplier button, and we'll press the F2 key to give us an idea of what the overall help is for this page. So you can see, as per normal, we have our shortcut keys we can use, and if I press the F1 key here now, it tells us what we can do with this particular supplier code entry point, which is here. I'm going to call up a supplier that's already in the system, so I know it starts with DH, and there's the one we want. This is a company rather than an individual, having a company name, not a first name last name combination. What I'll do is I'll go down to the edit button here so that things are a little more clear. This delivery button here designates as to whether the supplier ships to us or whether we collect. This freight supplier indicates whether this supplier is a supplier of freight. This company is not a supplier of freight. If this is set to yes though, when we're in the customer table on the address page, this shipper code section here would, when we go and do an inquiry, show any of the suppliers that are marked as freight yes. I'll put that as no. The group supplier name here is for where you may have multiple suppliers within a company. Say for example you have Bunnings as a supplier. You may be purchasing from multiple Bunnings stores, so you would create the various Bunnings stores as suppliers in here, but you may be paying an account back to the head office of Bunnings, so that's where you would put this in here, and you'd also have the head office account set up as a supplier. Contact details, whatever you require to put in there. The address details are the actual physical address of the supplier and also their postal address. Contacts can be put in here. They are, as I'll show you with the F1 key, they have a maximum of 80 characters. They're free-form text, and you don't have to put anything in here, of course. And you can put in email addresses, phone numbers, names, anything you like. The finance page, this section here will allow you to set up what drives your accounting system with this supplier. So they may give you a credit limit. This is not a mandatory field. They may specify you have a minimum value per order when you order from them. The margin factor is used for calculating your cost price based on the list price supplied by your supplier. That is one method of calculating your cost price for your product table. The accounting basis can be monthly, weekly, fortnightly, depending on your supplier again. And your payment terms, either COD from the end of the period, which would be the end of the month in this case, or from the invoice date. So we'll put this at the end of the month, or sorry, end of the period. And then the number of days we have, say for example 30 days from the end of the period, so that would mean 30 days from the end of the month. The discount days is in case your supplier allows you to have a discount if you pay early. Now, the supplier may allow you 7 days from the date of the invoice, for example, to pay the account, and you may get, say, a 1.5% discount. Your payment priority is included to allow you to manage cash flow. The payment priority allows you to nominate a number of days past the end of these terms before the supplier starts calling you for payment of your account. It does help you in your cash flow management, and when you do an optimum payments report, it will take that into account. The bank BSB and the bank account are the bank account details relating to the supplier, and the financial balances with your supplier are shown here. You have a page where you can put notes in. This is a completely free form text area, and you can cut and paste text from other areas into here. The activity will show you purchases across the previous period, the discounts that you've received for early payment, and the payments that you have made to your supplier. The dissections area here is part of a future development expected to be released around mid-2011, which will further streamline the entry of invoices and credit notes from your supplier. This accounts button will be removed mid-2011 as well, as we now have this section here with the group supplier. Down the bottom here we have a history button which will show us various invoices and payments that we have made, and on these invoices it will show us what the disbursements were to the general ledger and also what we purchased. So we have a look at this one, for example. There are a number of items here, payments, invoices, etc. The orders button will show us what we have in the way of orders with this supplier. Returns, if we've returned anything, in this case we haven't. The products that this supplier supplies, if we do this, these are all of the various products we purchase from this supplier. The unlock button here is an administrative tool for unlocking in case there is a power cut and we have a lock held on the transaction header for suppliers. You can set a supplier image in this area here. We have the same standard buttons across the bottom here. Adding new supplier, editing, which we are currently doing at the moment, as is indicated here. Saving it, cancelling it, deleting it. This print button here will allow us to print transaction records for the creditor if we're not in the edit mode. And then there's the close button. So we'll go ahead and close the window, and yes, we'll save any changes we made. And that's the end of suppliers.